Hello everyone, this is Yeansu here, back with some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm 1 versus 1 action. And today, I am excited because it is going to be MMA up in the top right side and down in the bottom left side. It's going to be MC. Literally, like, two of my favorite players for their respective races of all time. That includes Brood War. That does include Brood War, and we'll see exactly how this one shapes up. I honestly have no idea, because I feel like these are two players who have been around since, like, the beginning of StarCraft 2. They've been around since before StarCraft 2, and they have stayed consistently good and or relevant since StarCraft 2 came out originally, even back in like beta, man. They have been around for a long time. So this is kind of like the clash of two old guys, like two old gladiators who really aren't that old if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. I think MC right now is like 22 or something. He like just turned 22, so he's 21 when he played this. So I think like today was his birthday, or very recently. I remember reading that on Reddit, but definitely not old, but hey, we're just going to say it for the sake of saying it. Terran versus Protoss, and unfortunately, my voice is a little bit shot, because I did cast some games. Unfortunately, my computer took a giant poop, and the videos weren't really to the husky quality so that I wanted. So even though my voice is shot, even though I cast those games and they didn't quite work out, I'm going to power through. So if I have to stop to take a drink of water, I want you guys to forgive me. I want you guys to just let it go. Let it go. I don't know any of the other words, so thankfully you guys won't get any more of the Frozen sing-along song, which I don't think you were expecting on a Husky StarCraft video. Most certainly were not expecting that. That is for absolute sure. Right now, though, the probe is going to go ahead and scout out. Does he decide to harass the SCV? I doubt he's going to get much accomplished if he does, especially since there will be a Reaper. There he is. You know, they say don't fear the Reaper, but you definitely should, especially these new, like, juiced up Reapers that Blizzard has introduced, where they regain HP out of combat, they move super fast, they can see super far, they don't throw bombs at buildings anymore, unfortunately. They decide to leave their grenades back at home. But, it does look like the Reaper here could easily scout out, do the job that the SCV was sent to do as well. And the SCV is going to see, okay, there's a Zealot on the way, Cybernetics Core on the way as well. And having the Zealot out now is kind of a necessity. It's like bare necessities, man, as you're lucky I don't know the lyrics to that song either. But the reason is that you kind of need that Zealot to go ahead and chase around that Reaper. Even if the Reaper is able to kite it forever and kill it, it prevents the Reaper from just harassing your mineral line. I will say, though, that probe actually did a surprising amount of damage to that SCV. The Zealot here going to try and end the job, and does manage to get one hit off. SCV might actually just go ahead and run on home. I don't think he can really do anything that effective. Zealot is now going to be going up against that Reaper, as is predicted. There's going to be that probe trying to gather, trying to boogie as fast as he possibly can. Can he actually save it? Looks like the Stalker here not able to cut off that Reaper. The Reaper overextended a little bit, but it isn't really overextending if you get the kill and you don't die. So he's able to scoot on out of there. And expansion is going to be on the way for MMA. I mean, Reaper Expand, that is like the go-to build. I know this isn't Bronze League Heroes, but my pro tip of the day would be just go for a Reaper Expand as Terran. It's a pretty solid build versus all races, because number one, you get the scouting in. Number two, you kind of scare your opponent from doing anything too crazy against you. And number three, you have your microphone kind of fall down. Hang on. We got to get this microphone back up here. There we go. But yeah, if you go to Reaper Expand, your microphone will fall over. Just you just have to expect that. As Reaper right now is going to go ahead and grab those watchtowers, and you can see just how much map vision this one Reaper gets, just running around constantly. He's looking for proxies, he's looking for expansions, he's looking for stray probes, he's looking for any tech inside the main base. He's got a lot of work to do, and this is kind of exactly what Blizzard, in my opinion, wanted to have happen with the Reaper changes, is make them more viable in the early game, make them useful. Basically it's weird because they're not really useful in the end game, because there's so many ways you can scout your opponent, but it helps you get safer to the end game. So it's kind of like they're useful for the whole game, if that makes sense. Anyways, that Reaper is going to go ahead and survive, continue to scout around. He wants to know that this is a very common place to hide buildings, hide pylons, things like that, and also a very common place to sneak into your opponent's base, which is exactly what he's going to do here. And this is very frustrating for Protoss, because how are you supposed to hide any amount of tech? I think that Reaper spotted that quite easily, and he does. Will eventually get taken out there, but that Reaper's already done his job. He left a voicemail back here for MMA saying, hey, there's a Twilight Council with the possibility of Blink on the way, so watch out. We have seen a lot of Protoss players try and go for a Blink all-in, and we do have 3 Stalkers here already for MC. Wouldn't be surprised to see him abuse the Blink Stalker all-in. However, with the Widow Mines here, these Widow Mines play an interesting role because they're going to be able to one-shot these Zealots and Stalkers, and they can't really be spotted by a Blink Stalker all in. So if MC overcommits to this and there's too many Widow Mines, he literally cannot do anything about it. But at the end of the day, he still just has 2 gateways on the way, so it's not the fastest Blink Stalker all in if I've ever seen one. So I don't think that's actually going to be it. MMA does go ahead and drop down 2 bunkers. I do not think that whatever either of these players is doing is going to end the game anytime soon. I mean, MC may try and roll the dice of fate. He may try and do a little bit of harassment here, but I don't think it's enough with no detection to be able to break MMA. MMA does have those 2 Widow Mines and a 3rd Widow Mine on the way. To me, that says, you know what? This is not going to work out. We do have Forge on the way. He also is able to spot those 2 gateways with that pretty money spot on scan. He's actually seen every single building that MC has. He's going to go ahead and drop down pylons inside of his base, but notice there's really no major pylons out on the map just yet. Again, this is telling me that he's not doing the craziest all-in that I've ever seen. Blink is almost done. 3 gateways going to be done here right when that's going to be finishing up as well. Could actually warp those in on the front lines if he wanted to. But MC may try and again roll the dice to see if he can do any damage here, but I can't help but feel like MMA is prepared for this. He's got the Widow Mines. He's got double bunkers. He's got lots of extra Marines. He's got vision out on the map. He's got the Widow Mine out here to prevent any sort of shenanigans from going down. And MC doesn't even have his army in position here. So this tells me, you know, he was contemplating the idea. He thought about it, but now he's more just worried about drops. He's worried about any sort of counterattack. So he's got his own cannons on the way. Has his own robotics facility. Yeah, so this is not going to be a Blink Stalker all in. It's kind of like a feigned one a little bit. It kind of threw MMA off a little bit. He, you know, got the extra bunker there, got some Widow Mines that he may not necessarily need a little bit later on. Maybe scared him into not expanding to a 3rd base so soon. But at the end of the day, no major losses here for either player. And even dropping the pylon down there, I mean, MC was thinking, yeah, maybe I'll go for it. But if nothing else, if he scouts his pylon, then he's going to maybe freak out a little bit more. Does look at the scan right there, is going to reveal those Stalkers, and really that's going to tell MMA, okay, I really have nothing to fear here. There's not a whole lot to this army. Got to go ahead and keep these 2 bunkers for now, but I can, in all honesty, salvage these pretty soon. At least one of them. I mean, having 1 bunker back at home is always nice, just in case there is a silly run by or something like that. But either way, looks like MMA may go ahead and move on out. He does have the double medevacs now. Going to send in those Widow Mines as well. We should be seeing an Observer out pretty soon. Yeah, but it's just moments away here. And a 2nd Observer to follow it up. I personally like to do this where you have 1 Observer kind of either following the army or scouting their base, and then 1 back at home, because you never know what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, I do have a cannon here and 1 in the natural and main, but I just got to be careful because those Widow Mines can really start to contain you quite heavily. But at the same time, you want to know where that army's at and what other tech is on the way. So going for 2 is awesome. Sometimes you'll even see 3, which actually we are going to be seeing 3 right now. So MC is just playing it more of the, it's kind of the safe route, as long as you don't have a major attack headed your way that you're not expecting. But MC got to be wise enough to know basically what's exactly headed his way. And if we do take a look over here at MC's vision, you can kind of see, yep, can still spot the right side, can see the left. He even sees this 1 Marine over here, which doesn't tell him a whole lot, but it does tell him that MMA is out of the map. That's going to be a very good force video. The medevac's going to have to pick that up and get out of there. That's something that players have done for a long time, where you save them on the ramp quite easily, especially considering the amount of sentries MC actually has. He is at 4 right now, which is a surprising number. I think he just really wants to hold that ramp as long as he possibly can. Observer there is going to go ahead and spot that Widow Mine. Stalkers here are going to get a freebie kill on that. And that's going to be a nice little pickup here for MC. But again, no major losses here for either player. Yeah, technically MMA has lost, like, what was that, 8 times as many units, but it's only 400 resources lost at 50. Not that big of a deal. And MC hasn't been really able to do too much this game either. Just lost an Observer right there. MMA could easily expand if he wanted to. Has already got the command center there. Is going to go ahead and start working on the rockets. I wouldn't be surprised to see it lift off right now, and that's actually exactly what's going to happen here. So MMA, like, playing a little bit faster than my brain can think. There's going to be a 2nd scan, though. That's 2 scans for 2 observers. I'm always weirded out by that as Terran. I mean, like, is it worth it to kill the observer, or is it better to have those 2 mules? MMA saying right now it's better to kill those off. He does not want to be scouted. He also wants to force his opponent to have to make more observers, as opposed to things like Immortals, as opposed to things like Colossus. We do have the Psystorm going to be on the way here as well, and War Prism right here ready to go. 4 Zealots. Viking here, though, managing to spot it, and decides to unload the Zealots, I suppose, while the War Prism gets out of there. Those Zealots not going to really be able to do that much. Even with Zealot legs, it's basically just running faster to their deaths. I don't think they're going to kill a single thing there. Maybe wasted some medevac energy, but guess what? Energy can be replenished. The Zealots cannot, at least not for free, as we do have the 3rd base now up for MMA. Are we going to be seeing a 3rd base for MC? That's the real question. That Marine is literally running for his life, trying to get out of there. Wasn't meant to be, but hey, it's the effort that counts. Not really. If you're already dead, then the effort didn't really count, I suppose. But trying to keep that Marine alive. I got to say, MMA trying to babysit his units. But overall, It's interesting because we've seen these players try and get inside each other's head, but it's been about 14 minutes. We've only lost about 1,250 resources overall on these units, so not a whole lot lost either way. Wow, those Zealots actually managed to barely survive there. But it's still a very intense and pressure-based game. Oh, I think he slightly misplaced that there. That's going to be 100 resources lost. That was completely needless. Not sure that's going to play a big role in the game at the end of the day, but if the game does end up relatively close, then things like 100 minerals can make a huge difference. The longer the game goes on, though, a few extra resources here and there does not matter, especially since both these players have not really lost anything whatsoever, as instead they're just deciding to go ahead and basically start massing up their armies, as you tend to do in StarCraft 2. It does look like the Warpers right there to manage to get intercepted. That's with the High Templar right there, a huge play. Why did MMA do that? That is like the play of the day if I've ever seen it. Managing to intercept that Warpers with the High Templar. They weren't even able to storm in time to save themselves. However, the medevacs here may be caught behind enemy lines. Are they able to safely retreat? Looks like the answer is yes. What was that? An absolute ridiculous play by MMA. And MC got to be going, I was actually planning to do a storm drop here, and that did not work out. That is for absolute sure, but it does look like right now MC a little bit upset by that. He's got to figure out, okay, well, what do I do with this army now? It's just Zealots and a couple of High Templar, and there's Widowmine right there. Is he going to kill off a High Templar? Probably just a Zealot or a Stalker. Either way, I mean, look at the amount of splash damage. It's actually kind of disgusting how good Widowmines are if you are unable to deal with them. MC finally getting this third base up, but man, no, not again. More High Templar. MC maybe a little tilt. He may be going on tilt right now, as the High Templar on the ramp there and the force field is able to delay that down. Well, he does intercept over here, so MC has managed to zone out this army, but MMA, he is ready to engage. He wants to get this army trapped there. He wants to engage if possible. There's no Mothership Core here. More units are warping in, maybe morphing in an Archon. I don't know if he's gonna have enough energy for a Psy Storm. No, he doesn't. There's the snipes right away. Feedback coming up. One storm goes down, but MC managing to barely dodge those EMPs. He's trying to find an escape route right now. I don't know if he's got one, as MMA got to swing down and around, but you can see MC just trying to literally piece on out of here as quickly as he possibly can. This army is relatively trapped, though. Kind of a game of cat and mouse right now, as MC, though, does have a lot of reinforcements here from the south. Now he found an angle. He wants to engage out the EMPs, looking pretty brutal, but I don't know if force fields are going to be enough. This is so many Zealots. What are their upgrades at? 2 armor here playing a big role. MC going up against just 1 upgrades here. He actually manages to crush through. I don't know how. There's going to be the collapse of the rocks, though, to save himself. Double Observer goes down. This game is seriously bananas. I'm actually going to eat a banana after this, just because there's so many bananas in my house now after watching this game. MC making pure gateway units work, showing just how important that +1 attack upgrade is, or the +1 armor on his opponent, rather. But Widowmines right there are going to be stifling that push. But MC turning a bad situation into at least slightly less bad. Oh, gotta watch out for the Widowmines. That last one does not activate. Oh, wait. MC may be giving him a chance, though, if he's not careful here, as those Stalkers going to go ahead and grab that watchtower to make sure nothing else heads that way. That poor probe. He had probably better get out of there. And actually manages to save himself at the last second. I feel like this probe has become self-aware. He's like, I'm not going to wait for a command from MC. I'm going to get the hell out of here. And that's exactly what he did there. But seriously, this is one of my favorite games recently, just because, number 1, it's 2 of my favorite players. Number 2, it's like one of my favorite matchups. And number 3, it's just been an all-around awesome game. Lots of mind games going on. These armies really have just kind of a mind of their own, just trying to figure out, where can we engage? When do I need to retreat? How do I retreat effectively? And when you're backed into a corner, how do I engage effectively? Right now, though, MMA out in the center of the map with a couple of groups of units, 1 on the left side, 1 here in the center. He has actually got a 3rd group down the bottom right side as well, as that army's just going to go ahead and chill on out. He's going to try and drop that into MC's 3rd. Scans coming up for MMA at the natural of MC to see where's that army at. He doesn't realize, though, it's right outside of the scans range. And I gotta say, this is what I love about MMA. Multi-pronged drops. He realizes the longer this game goes on, the easier it is for Protoss to get that giant death ball. However, MC's still stuck with a lot of Zealots, but once you start going up against 2-2 upgrades, it's not nearly as easy to keep them alive. Widowmine right there, once again, getting a kill. I gotta say, his Widowmine's actually being used to great effect here. 1 Psystorm, not even enough to kill off a Widowmine. So I think that Widowmine will go down, but still, it is serving its purpose of zoning out that army just a little bit longer. MMA's got his armies just split up everywhere. He's got like 4 different hotkey groups of units just kind of chilling out every which way, and might actually be able to find a weakness in the armor of MC. However, MC is becoming much more difficult to crack because guess what? MC has a fully maxed out army. There's going to be a slight drop down here. Maybe feedback. Yep, take that one out. At this point, though, little groups of units here and there are actually sacrificial for both of these players. I mean, they're both maxed out, essentially. They both have very, very good income, and both have potential fourth bases on the way. MC, though, still a little bit timid as that army from MMA has been delaying this for quite some time. I do think MC, though, is going to want to go ahead and reclaim this high ground or start pressuring that fourth base because, yeah, he's got a little bit of money in the bank, but at the end of the day, he can't let MMA just sit on 4 bases like this. MC, though, I feel like his zealots just don't die. They have the +3 armor, +1 attack is going to be on the way, and it does look like the natural for MC could go down. It's got to be dangerously close here. It looks like MC, though, getting enough stuff over here to save it, and the Stalkers are able to take out, even mixing in the Storm to finish it off. Decides not to go the feedback route, instead gets a little bit more flashy with it. MC managing to save that natural, and the most important thing here is the gas. Still 2,000 gas remaining at that location. Ooh, a potential drop over here. This could be behind the mineral the mineral line here inside the main base if you want to, but I mean, really, there's only going to be the one cannon there. There's no base over here, so I don't really know what that army can do, especially with these zealots over here, but hey, he's at least going to try. And 2 Vikings over here are going to be able to spot this army right there. Could even land on the high ground to engage if they wanted to, as the Vikings here, though, most effectively going to be used versus those Colossus. Oh, drops that one Marauder there. He gets trapped behind a pylon, an assimilator, a cannon, and lots of zealots. That was not a good time to be that Marauder. He was probably all gung-ho and then just immediately died. But MC right now, mostly in a defensive position here, does find out that, well, number one, there's rocks here. But number 2, there is going to be these Widow Mines up here. Decides to burrow one there at the mineral line. Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice at all, but could boost right past us and drop them down here, potentially doing a lot of damage. We'll see if that actually ends up being effective or not. But at this point, again, just little bits of harassment. Whoa, actually completely circumnavigates that cannon. And it drops 2. No, all 3 Widow Mines down there. He should get some pretty big shots right there. 9 kills on that one. This guy has 3, but hasn't actually managed to activate yet. He's like at this weird angle where he's not actually activating. And one last Widow Mine is going to be mixed in here, and does manage to kill off that Widow Mine there as well. Zealot's trying to run up here, but guess what? There's a Planetary Fortress, which is going to shoot you in the face, which is no fun for anybody. Medevac goes down. I think killing off 9 workers is more than worth it, especially at this stage where basically no workers have died. I mean, if you look at this and take out those 9, well, that would have been like, what, 3 and 1, maybe? Maybe. It might have just been only 2 and 1. But it does look like this army now for MMA going to move out. This is where MMA starts to get a little bit scary, which is not normally what I say for Terran. But once you have 2-2 upgrades with 3-3 nearly done, especially that +3 attack upgrade, plus all those EMPs, lots of scans coming down. That's why I'm talking about EMPs on the ramp. Better watch out. You better not shout. You better not cry. I'll tell you why. MMA is going to EMP you in the face, and he doesn't care that he's actually on MC's home turf. The Vikings able to actually do quite a bit. Might end up landing all these Vikings here, or at least just, I guess, hanging them out. There's going to be the landing. MC trying to hang on, but the Cloak Ghost doing a lot. Guess what, though? So are the Zealots. Colossus is going to be joining the fight at the last second. Reinforcements have arrived in the form of High Templar, cleaning up all those Vikings. MC manages to hold as MMA in a full-on retreat and assault directly at the main base. But it wasn't enough to break MC. MMA not out of this just yet, though. Take a look at this income tab right now. You can see 1,500 resources per minute to just 1,000. I don't know if that includes any mules. I don't think it does. It actually only includes the few mining bases that still have minerals here for MMA. And MMA does have to hold on this base, so it's absolutely crucial. He's not going to. That base goes down. MC has got a foothold back in this game. It is going to be an uphill struggle for MMA right now. There's the scan. Takes out the observer. That's going to help protect those ghosts. Another observer right on the heels, though. This is the only observer, though. So if there's any Vikings mixed in, just the one. But a scan can still take out that observer and means that these ghosts are surprisingly effective. This base down here, though, has got to be kind of like the ace in the hole, the card in the sleeve for MMA. He's got to keep that alive. But it could be locked down by a mothership core of all units right now, as it does spot exactly what's going on there. And MMA, he does still have a sizable force. Let's take a look at the army supply, though. 105 to 143. That means he has to be cost-effective versus Protoss, which is never easy in the late game. He's got to figure out how to kill off these units. Does get a nice EMP there, and that could actually even the score. I mean, it basically cuts the HP of that army in half by hitting all those zealots. When you take a look at the zealots here, if I can actually click on 150 shields across all those zealots is quite a lot, especially if you can start hitting those archons as well. Those are the money shots, and MMA definitely needs a money shot right now, which, you know, I probably shouldn't say, probably should not word it like that, but that is exactly what he needs right now, is the absolute perfect EMPs. He also needs the perfect drops, but I mean, look at this. How are you supposed to drop a location with 4 High Templar and 3 cannons? Good luck. And I think the Martian core is actually not too far off either. At least it was in the area. And could photon overcharge quite easily. But here we go, a massive attack right now that MMA is going to have to struggle to deal with. He does have his army split up here, and it's trying to do as much damage as he possibly can here. It's going to be tough, though, with all the storms and all the Archons. EMPs, though, actually starting to even the tide by quite a bit. MMA refusing to die just yet. The Vikings actually in the perfect spot to be able to take out these Colossus. And can MMA actually hold here? This would be an absolute ridiculous hold. The supplies have evened out in a big way as the Colossus start to fall. MC actually doesn't have that much left, especially after he loses that Colossus. The last units are just 2 Immortals and an Archon that can't really get in range to do all that much as he is stuck on the high ground. MMA might actually be able to hold here. Could easily land these Vikings. More reinforcements, though, going to be swarming in here with these Zealots. A couple more Archons here as well. Vikings, though, are surprisingly effective at dealing with the Zealots. They're steaming in here, and actually streaming in here, not steaming, but it does look like the bunkers here do manage to have some sort of role that he did manage to keep those. He decides to go ahead and salvage that just to get a little bit of money because he needs everything he can right now. Observers trying to gather. If he scans and kills off those 3 observers, that would be huge. But it does look like what MMA going to be pushing out the center of the map, kills off all the reinforcements, and there's the observers are trying to split up, realizing just how important those units are. And MMA, he is out for blood. He's going to be pushing forward. If nothing else, he's going to be delaying the counterattacks by killing out these pilots. He also has that sensor tower there, so he is well aware of this base down here. Can MMA actually march out with all these units? If he wins with this army, that would be an absolutely ridiculous comeback as he managed to hang on. APM for both these players, over 300 at times. And no, give me my music back. Give me my music back. We need to keep that. As it does look like here, MMA going to go ahead and retreat for now, realizing he cannot push that far out into the map and actually in the game just yet. But this has evened out in a shocking manner. I still don't know if MMA can do it, but man, he sure as hell is trying. I love how he has the Vikings landed right now. Look at this, going to be eating up some free Zealots. Gotta love all you can eat Zealots at Chili's, as we do have right now. The Zealots going to go ahead and move on in. This base is relatively well defended, though, as actually, wait, over here, it looks like Psystorm's eating up a lot of that army. Gonna be not making this base as defended as I thought. The bunker goes down. The SCV is going to go down as well. I don't know how many of those are going to survive. Not too many, as it does look like right now, though. MMA marches up here. He's got to EMP these if possible. The Ghosts do have enough energy. There it goes. Going to be stacking those EMPs, but we have battles taking place every which way. It does look like the Archons are going to be cleaned up, and once again, the supplies getting dangerously close for both these players. I will say, though, it does look like MC comes out a little bit ahead. These Zealots is refusing to die. Archon finally falls there. MMA trying to establish this base. Does he have enough here to hold off the counterattack? That's a lot of High Templar. They don't have enough energy for for Storm, so he does decide to go for the Archons here, but can he kill off the Archons before they're done morphing? These Zealots doing a surprising amount of damage, and once again, the Ghost going to be doing lots of damage as well with those EMPs, and it does look like the Zealots going to get taken out. MMA actually in the lead in supply. Can MC actually hold it? Doesn't look like he can. He may be ending up losing this base. There's only a couple Zealots left. There's going to be the cannons in the back of the base as well. MMA somehow hangs on, somehow crushes that army, and somehow might actually defeat MC here in one of the most ridiculous games I've ever actually seen. It's not the longest game, but so close. There's the GG from MC. He's actually defeated by MMA. Oh my god, as if my voice wasn't sore enough, then a game like this had to come along. MC versus MMA promised to be nothing but epic, and my goodness, did they deliver. Absolutely one of my favorite games as of late. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I think that was an amazing showcase of MMA's late game Protoss versus Terran. He is so good. I feel like he's actually stronger versus Protoss in the late game, which I do not say for a lot of Terrans, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I sure as hell enjoyed casting it. So, of course, I'll see you guys next time.